Right now at noon, the government shutdown enters day 7. Now the shutdown continues to impact families right here in the 4 states.
And we've got cloudy skies and much cooler temperatures today, but it's a one-day deal only. The latest on your forecast coming up.
Plus, a heads up for library patrons in Carthage.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. New at noon today, more than 80 people are set to lose their jobs at the Gates Corporation plant in Iola, Kansas. A warn notice filed with the Kansas Department of Commerce shows 81 workers will lose their jobs between December and January. Most of the layoffs take effect December 1st of this year, with 5 additional positions ending in January 1st, 2026. Now, in its letter to the state, Gates says it's ending HFN manufacturing operations at the Iola plant and that a few unrelated positions will also be cut. The facility on Montana Road is listed by the city of Iola as a major local employer, originally built to support about 300 workers. And the Carthage Public Library will close for about 2 to 3 weeks starting Monday, November 3rd. Library leaders say the closure will allow crews to complete front entrance renovations and ceiling repairs in the dome area where water damage made the space unsafe. Now, during the closure, the book drop will be closed as well, and patrons are asked to hold on to borrowed items until reopening. Free Wi-Fi will remain available in the parking lot, and ebooks and online resources can still be accessed. And residents in Carthage are getting a rare behind-the-scenes look at how their lights stay on. Carthage Water and Electric Plant is hosting public tours of its historic power plant on South River Street today. Now, each one lasts about 30 to 40 minutes and gives visitors a look at how the utility provides power to the community around the clock.
It's an honor to be able to serve the community that many of us live in, that we participate in, and you know, many of us live here in Carthage or around the area and get to serve and give back to those that we call home.
Now, tours began at 10 this morning and they'll happen again at 6 tonight. Let's take it on over now to Chris Warner.
Yeah, we had some scattered showers and storms for some of southeast Kansas, even inching into parts of southwest Missouri this morning. And we had that line up in our northern counties, managed to actually cross over and get into parts of Bates County and even into some of Vernon County this morning. Nothing strong, nothing severe. We also had this look from downtown Pittsburgh earlier this morning as well, just socked in with clouds, even had some dense fog. Had a lot of things going on, nothing too crazy, just a lot of things happening all at once. MoDOT camera, 20th and range line from this morning, also looking cloudy. Take a look at these numbers. Should be at 52. We started yesterday at 66. Should make it to 74. Made it 4 degrees shy of a record high that was set back in 1963. That's how warm it's been. Now today is on the other side. We're actually going to be a little below normal out there, but it's a short-lived cool down as we start to warm right back up. But as for the rest of this evening, we gradually fall back through the low 60s. We'll have mostly cloudy skies, but as we get later into the evening, we'll have a little bit of clearing taking place, starting to go partly cloudy as we go overnight tonight, with our lows dipping back into the low 50s. So right where they should be, but just chilly compared to where we have been. Again, it will start to warm back up. We'll tell you just how warm it's going to get in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, 1 week into the government shutdown, and the impact is starting to be seen at the airport. National Airspace Operations flagged 12 air traffic control facilities as having concerningly low staffing, and it resulted in significant delays. Meanwhile, in Washington, the two parties can't even agree on if negotiations to end the shutdown are even taking place. Natalie Brandt has more details from the White House.
The shutdown is snarling air travel nationwide, with staffing issues reported in several airports coast to coast Monday night.
The controllers yesterday were saying, we actually have to think about working 6 days a week, and then do I go out and take an Uber job and try to make extra money to put the food on the table?
The most glaring example, no staff inside the air traffic control tower at the Hollywood Burbank Airport.
Clearance is closed, ground's closed, local's closed, the tower is closed due to staffing. So you just contact SoCal on the 800 number in the green book for your clearance.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the department is slowing air travel in areas hit by staffing shortages to ensure the airspace is safe.
The real-world impacts could pressure the White House and lawmakers to find a way out of the shutdown. President Trump has said he's happy to work with Democrats on health care, but wants them to reopen the government first.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said last night the president has not talked to Democrats.
It should be clear to Republicans that we cannot go forward unless they sit down and seriously negotiate with Democrats to address the health care crisis. It's that simple.
Senators are expected to hold additional votes on the same spending bills to reopen the government that have now failed to pass 5 times. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And right here in the 4 states, local organizations feeling the strain as the government shutdown pushes more families to seek help. As the government shutdown continues, organizations like Souls Harbor are feeling the impact. They are seeing more families come through the doors each week as public assistance programs tighten.
For the last few months, they've already been cutting back on the food stamps, and so now we have the WIC program as well. And so we've been adding 20 to 50 new families every single week. So, and this has gone on for a couple, 3 months now. So yeah, the load here is getting extremely heavy.
The organization says the shelves will keep getting restocked thanks to community donations, and they're asking anyone who can lend a hand to help. Well, coming up, the Show Me state moves to argue gun laws at the highest court, and the justices have other ideas. We'll have the details. And later, we're making Minnesota hot dish in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The suspect in a fatal 2023 bar shooting in Pittsburgh learns his fate. The incident happened on a Sunday morning back in August 2023. Authorities responded around 1:15 to a reported shooting. On scene, they discovered Justin Krogan of Pittsburgh had been shot outside of a local bar and died from his injuries. The suspect, Jamon Allen, was arrested nearly 4 months later in Arkansas. The incident happened on a Sunday as authorities arrested him. Now on scene, of course, they did discover Justin Krogan. He was extradited back over to Crawford County as a judge yesterday sentenced the Pine Bluff man to 10.5 years in prison for voluntary manslaughter, aggravated battery, and aggravated assault. Allen was also ordered to pay $7,500 in restitution and register upon his release as a violent offender. And the United States Supreme Court refuses to revive a controversial Missouri gun law. The highest court yesterday said it would not hear arguments over whether the Show Me state can ban police from enforcing some federal gun laws. The state argued federal laws that don't have an equivalent state law do not have to be enforced. Now, the measure imposed $50,000 in fines for officers who knowingly enforced those federal laws. Those laws included possession of firearms by some domestic violence offenders and weapons registration and tracking. Lower courts found the 2019 law violated the Supremacy Clause, a section of the U.S. Constitution that says federal law takes precedent over state laws. Supreme Court justices refused to intervene in 2023, keeping the law blocked while a court fight between the state and the federal government played out. And a new obelisk rises at the Missouri Veterans Memorial in Jefferson City to honor those who served in the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. The monument joins 8 other obelisks on the Veterans Walk next to the state capitol. The Missouri Veterans Commission pushed for the project after the General Assembly approved funding. Now, the $157,000 project will read wars in Iraq and Afghanistan with dates from 2001 to 2021. And more than 120 Arkansas National Guard soldiers said goodbye to their families yesterday as they prepared for deployment at Camp Robinson. The troops are heading to Fort Hood for training before moving to the southern border to support customs and border protection. The soldiers will provide air support for ground units and border patrol agents from helicopters. And still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Coming up next, we're answering one of your online questions. And of course, our answer includes one tasty recipe.
And we are tracking warmer temperatures over the next several days. Could even get close to record highs again. The latest when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon on what's been a dreary and for some of us a soggy day out there, but this dreariness leading to cooler temperatures across the region. A look from earlier this morning downtown Pittsburgh where we had those cloudy skies, even had some patchy fog in the Pittsburgh area this morning, had some dense fog in some of our eastern counties this morning as well. Then we had showers and thunderstorms off in our western counties through the morning too. As we take a look at the future track rolling through the day, again, some sprinkles will still be possible. possible. We're otherwise looking at mostly cloudy to cloudy skies. And again, majority of us dry, but an isolated little sprinkle or two will be possible. Now, late evening into the overnight, we get a little clearing. We start to go partly cloudy out there, and it's going to be chilly tonight, which we'll get to in just a moment. It's seasonably chilly, but a lot cooler than where we have been. But again, this this cool weather, short-lived. As we start to warm up on our Wednesday, we're going partly cloudy out there, and then as we head later into the evening and overnight, should have mostly clear skies, and then we'll start to see some clouds as we roll into our Thursday. Could start a little on the mostly cloudy side, but then we'll have partly cloudy skies throughout the rest of the day, ahead of additional rain chances early Friday morning, and then we'll even have some heading into next week. So here's a look. Most of us topping out about 70. Now, some of that clearing that's expected could take place just early enough, especially in our far northern counties, say north of 54. You might make the low mid-70s. There are some locations where the clouds are going to be socked in a little longer, may not make it out of the upper 60s. So we're talking very cool, in fact, below normal temperatures, which is nice compared to where we have been with all these above average temperatures. We'll have that north breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, again, our average low is 52, so believe it or not, some of us still a degree or two above that, but a lot closer. And because of that, it's going to feel pretty chilly. You're going to want to break out the sweater if you're doing anything late this evening, or maybe you're out overnight or whatever the case may be, up very early in the morning. You'll want to make sure that you're dressing warmly. The problem is, though, tomorrow morning, even though it may start a bit on the chilly side, it won't last. We go near 80, upper 70s out there with partly cloudy skies and an east breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. So maybe a jacket tomorrow morning as you start your day, something that you can take off at the office or wherever you're going. That way you don't have to be too hot by the time you head home, because it is going to warm up. And the warming trend doesn't stop there. We continue to climb, still upper 70s. Don't worry, the upper 80s show up, believe it or not. We'll go low 80s on Friday. Got a nice weekend, just well above average, pushing close to 90 next Sunday and Monday out there. And then we have, well, temperatures still not right where they should be, but a little cooler, low mid 80s for parts of next week with some additional isolated shower and thunderstorm chances. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, it can be a long process to clean up storm damage between the physical labor and working with your insurance company. Now, some people are still trying to get things taken care of after strong storms during the spring and summer in the Ozarks. Chris Bryant looks at the damage done and what you can do now to be prepared for the next storm.
That's a tree that was 150 years old that stood up. Insurance covered so much of it, and this is the remaining part of it because they don't want to get rid of the rest of it.
Some homeowners are still trying to recover from rounds of severe weather that hit during the spring and summer.
This year, the two big ones were April 29th and June 29th. Pretty much all of Greene County between those two events were impacted with high winds, and that led to quite a bit of damage reported across the area.
During the cleanup process, dealing with insurance companies has been a problem for some.
When the branch came in, you could see where it shoved the metal thing up the bracket to hold the skirting.
Kelly Barlow says she feels like the insurance adjuster could have done a better job when it comes to assessing the damage.
And the guy never did really get up underneath the trailer to see if it shifted anything. He just glanced in. I stood there and walked with him. He says it doesn't look like it shifted. Did he ever get up underneath of it to look? No, he did not.
Insurance agents say policies are different from company to company, but for the most part, there has to be damage to a structure. Bryant Young with Insurers of the Ozarks says insurance companies are starting to look at the cost of coverage.
A lot of insurance companies have come back, several of the ones that we work with, and started reevaluating the replacement cost on these folks' home to make sure it is accurate.
While it is ideal to have some money set aside in case a storm event happens.
I can't imagine the people who likely cleaned up from the first event and then were hit with the second one, or maybe they didn't get a lot of damage the first time and then they got it the second time.
Insurance agents say it's always best to talk to your agent to make sure you understand your coverage and make any changes to your policy that can save you headaches in the future.
Well, stick around. We're making Minnesota hot dish in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Well, today's Mr. Food recipe is a meat and potato lover's dream. Now, not only is it comforting, it's also easy to make for a quick weeknight dinner. Howard is making Minnesota hot dish in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
One of our favorite things to do here in the Test Kitchen is to answer your questions from Facebook. So today, our website editor, Merle, is here to share one of your questions with us.
Hi, Howard. One question we got from a viewer was, what's the difference between a casserole and what's known as a hot dish?
Thanks, Merle. Great question. You see, casseroles are named after the dish they're cooked in or served in, rather than what the dish consists of. Now, on the other hand, hot dishes always include some kind of canned soup, meat, and a starch. Typically potatoes, and like the name says, it's served hot. So all hot dishes are casseroles, yet not all casseroles are hot dishes. Let me show you one of my favorites. Here we brown some ground beef along with a chopped onion, and that goes into a baking dish. On top of that goes some frozen mixed vegetables, which are a whole lot easier than starting with fresh ones. Then we're going to spoon on a mixture that we made by combining some cream of mushroom soup and milk. Sprinkle on some cheddar cheese before finishing the whole thing off with a layer of frozen potato nuggets. We'll bake this until it's bubbly hot and the potatoes are crispy. Talk about a hearty all-in-one dish that's super easy and filling. I know you're going to want to go online and get a recipe for what's best known as Minnesota hot dish, so you can show off the difference between this and a traditional everyday casserole. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we're looking for a heartier way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Well, as always, you can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just head on over to our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Now let's take a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, again, temperatures cooled today, but warming right back up. Mid-70s, upper 70s tomorrow and Thursday, low 80s Friday, maybe a couple of morning showers. And as we head into the weekend, nice weekend, just it was a really nice weekend if it was in September. So we go upper 80s, thankfully not upper 90s, to near 90 though. Then a wee bit cooler next week, low to mid 80s with a few isolated to widely scattered shower and thunderstorm chances.
All right, certainly a nice day today from the heat. Nice break. And coming up tonight at 5, Lyme disease rates are rising nationwide. We hear from cardiologists who are warning of a serious heart complication that can occur after contracting Lyme disease. Plus, new updates on the Tar Creek Superfund sign as community members, advocates, and local leaders come together at the National Tar Creek Conference. And Jasper Products celebrates 25 years. You can join us for those stories and a whole lot more on KOAM News at 5. That's the news for now. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest.